UCLA closed its spring campaign with an hour-long live scrimmage at Drake Stadium on Saturday. The white team, which featured the number 2 offense with the No. 1 defense, won 16-10 behind an efficient day from quarterback Austin Burton. Here are notes and observations from the spring game. Time, 1 hour. Attire, full pads. Video interviews, Chip Kelly, Adarius Pickett, Theo Howard, Andre James, Krys Barnes. Personnel notes. Blue and white teams were decided by the coaching staff. Players didn't get prior notice for which team they would be on, they just walked into the locker room and found the appropriate colored jerseys hanging in their lockers Saturday morning. Injury notes. No new injuries. UCLA provided stats. Column color corresponds to blue, white team. UCLA's unofficial spring game stats for 2018. Notes and observations. Austin Burton had a standout day as he was the only quarterback without an interception, but the defense, as is expected with a spring practice, controlled the game. There were 4 combined takeaways, 3 interceptions and 1 fumble. Krys Barnes picked off Devin Modster on the 3rd play of the game, which drew an audible groan from the crowd. It was a very poor throw in the direction of Devin Ajazi and set a bad tone for what would be a pretty underwhelming day for Modster, who was leading the quarterback competition throughout spring. Elijah Gates pulled down an interception off Matt Lynch and Mo Osling 3 picked off walk-on Jackson Gibbs. Jay Smalley recovered a bad snap that turned the ball over to the blue team. Players said the tempo was slower than practice as there was huddling, but the Bruins still got in about 90 total plays, about 40 to 45 for each team, in an hour. The game was on TV, so naturally, the coaching staff didn't want to show off too much of the playbook. There were some zone reads and a lot of short passes, but none of the triple option plays we saw at different times of practice. Burton completed a nice downfield pass to Damian Alloway, which was the longest play of the day at roughly 55 yards. Burton wasn't going against the top defense, but he also threw a 2-yard touchdown pass to Chase Cota through a small window, ran for a 1-yard score and found Demetric Felton for another 35-yard completion. During training camp last year, Burton was consistently good for one big play of practice, but didn't have any notable moments this spring until Saturday. A good way to end spring practice for the redshirt freshman. The quarterbacks were live, which was rare, and not only were they open for contact, they actually ran very often. Lynch, who is probably the best runner of the 3 scholarship quarterbacks, gained about 20 yards on his first play by keeping the ball. There were a lot of zone read plays in which the quarterback ended up keeping the ball, including the play that ended with Burton's 1-yard score. Lynch had a nice touchdown pass to Theo Howard toward the back corner of the end zone. Howard elevated over Darnay Holmes to make the catch. The offensive line looked shaky at best, allowing a lot of pressure. There were also a number of bad snaps from both centers, Boss Tagovailoa for the blue team and Sam Marazzo for the white team. Raheem Johnson got a sack on Lynch and Lenny Toiloa had a sack on Gibbs. Lakenny Toiloa, Rick Wade, Osa Odigizua and Kayshawn Lucier South were also constant visitors to the offensive backfield. Lucier South got pressure on the play that led to Lynch's interception as the quarterback was forced out of the pocket and had to throw without setting his feet. Joshua Kelly finished off an impressive spring with another good performance Saturday. He led the running backs with 25 yards on 5 carries. He converted on 4th and 1 for the blue team, powering through for 4 yards to keep the drive alive. Shea Pitts was ejected for targeting after making helmet-to-helmet contact with Burton on the white team's first offensive drive. The defensive back didn't actually have to leave the game because the blue team didn't have enough defensive backs, but the referees announced that he was ejected. Johnny Den Bleeker snapped the ball over Stephen Flinoff's head on a punt attempt that resulted in a safety for the white team. It was a bizarre way to score 2 points, Kelly later admitted, because there were only 3 players on the field, the returner, the snapper and the punter. The head coach said everything went according to plan Saturday except for the safety. Tyree Thompson got a nice pass breakup on 3rd down that forced a punt.